All right, here we go. So when it comes to the keys, everything is spread out. Everything is far apart. Whether you're staying in Key Largo, Isla Mirada, Marathon, Big Pine Key, Key West, it doesn't matter. Having a car is very, very helpful, especially if you want to experience the Florida Keys in its entirety. And before I really get into the meat of this video, I want to open this video up with a few main tips. Right off the bat, you can assume that the prices will be jacked up in the Florida Keys, because it's a hot destination, it's a hot spot. So when it comes to lodging, we're full-time RVers and we think RV parks are the best way to go. But if you're not driving your rig down and that's not an available option, just expect that food, lodging, and experiences aren't gonna be on the cheap side. We personally like staying in Marathon because it's centrally located, whether we wanna go to Key West or Key Largo. It's not too far from either one. And of course, expect the weather to be hot and humid. So you might be dealing with constant attacks from the mosquitoes. That's sort of expected. And I've set this list up in no particular order, but I will be saving some of the more obscure and pricier things you can do in the Florida Keys for the very end. All right, so the first thing you want to do when you get to the Florida Keys is drive the 7 Mile Bridge. It's a freaking overseas highway, for God's sakes. The views are insane, the water is crystal clear, and you can also fish off the old 7 Mile Bridge that runs parallel with the new one. And if you want to be fancy, find yourself a boat, and you can also go underneath it. Since a lot of people come to the Florida Keys to enjoy the amazing beaches, I've come up with my 3 favorite ones, all located in different spots along the Keys. If you're staying close to Marathon, I love Sombrero Beach. Great for fishing and relaxing beach time. If you're staying in Big Pine Key, I'd recommend Bahia Honda State Park Beach. It's hands down one of the most stunning beaches in the country and my personal favorite. And if you're staying in Key West, our favorite beach is Fort Zachary Taylor State Park Beach, which also offers great snorkeling and beach picnicking with all the benches available, along with a pretty cool Civil War era fort to check out. And yes, for the 2 state parks I just mentioned, there is a small entry fee, but it's totally worth it. Dude, that just feels unreal. Oh man. One of Olivia and I's favorite activities was stand-up paddleboarding in the mangroves. We went through Lazy Dog Adventures, and the mangroves are basically these shrub-looking things with tangled roots that are in the ocean and have their own unique wildlife and ecosystems. Pretty cool, pretty unique experience overall, but just being able to really go through it and get amongst it was an awesome experience. I'm literally laying down completely flat just to get low enough to not hit these branches. This is the coolest thing. You gotta turn sharper than that, dude. And while in the Florida Keys, you've gotta try the seafood. There's all kinds available. I like lobster, so I had to try a lobster Reuben, a lobster roll, and a lobster bisque. Am I going overboard? I don't think so. Dreams do come true. And along with that, you've got to try conch fritters and or cracked conch. I personally prefer the cracked conch, but you gotta try both. Oh yes. The first thing you'll notice when you get to Key West is all them darn chickens. Chickens are everywhere, and these chickens are the definition of free range, just roaming about, minding their own business. So just expect to be seeing a lot of roosters and chickens. So we were warned that in Key West there's a ton of just chicken roaming around, and I spotted my first one. Look at him. Look at the colors on that guy. A great way to learn about the history of Key West is to go on a tour at the Hemingway Museum. This was surprisingly one of our favorite things that we did in Key West. His home is still in pristine condition, and his polydactyl cats have basically taken over the place. And it's cute. From his home, you'll also be able to spot the Key West Lighthouse. So an obvious tip is to get on a boat at some point. We were lucky to get invited on a friend's boat for an afternoon, and we loved it. I mean, it just gives you a whole different perspective of the Keys.
Not too much, not too much.
Another route you can go is to take a sunset boat tour or get on like a booze cruise floating tiki bar. You can find them on Airbnb or just book them in person in Key West or Key Largo. And if you're in Key West, you've got to try a Rodrigo cigar. They're basically the closest thing you're going to get to an actual Cuban cigar, and they run a really nice operation too, offering tours daily. Key West is definitely also known for its party/drinking scene. So while in Key West, you've got to grab drinks on or near Duval Street. We grabbed drinks at Sloppy Joe's, one of Ernest Hemingway's old spots, and also at this nice outdoor place called the Smokin' Tuna Saloon.
Smoking tuna, y'all.
Went in the Florida Keys in honor of Ernest Hemingway. Try some rum. We have reached the southernmost point of the continental USA. Another unique thing to do is to go to the southernmost point in the continental US. This spot is 90 miles from Cuba, and while many people line up to get a selfie, we just enjoyed being there and soaking it all in.
We care about being here, but we don't care that much to wait in line for it. But I'll show you guys what it looks like. And that's it.
The dessert of the Keys is, of course, the key lime pie. I suggest that instead of buying a slice, you buy the whole damn pie. And pro tip, put the rest of it in the freezer. It won't freeze it, but it'll change the texture into this cheesecakey kind of thing, which for me was a game changer. Compared to the other one, how's it?
Good.
One of the best ways to end the day in Key West is to go watch the sunset at Mallory Square. You'll typically see lots of street vendors and performers there. And the guy at the very end on the left sells the best conch fritters. This one goes out to all my fellow RVers out there. If you happen to be within driving distance of Florida, I highly recommend you make a trip to the Florida Keys with your rig. It's the most affordable way to go. You're right on the water. Last year we stayed at Jolly Roger RV Resort and loved it. And this year we switched it up and stayed at Grassy Key RV Resort and also loved it. Both were incredible. Averaged around $80 a night with full hookups. There's just nothing that beats it. It's one of the most unique places to RV in the United States. And if you don't have an RV and want to splurge, I recommend splurging at one of the many luxury resorts like Isla Bella. This is the definition of luxury lounging and vacationing, but definitely comes with a larger price tag. So expect to drop some moolah.
Come on, Mickey, do something, bro. Do something.
You have 20 seconds. That's all you need.
I like it.
One simple and free thing we also loved doing was just checking out all the wildlife. Iguanas, manatees, pelicans, sharks, starfish, jellyfish, parrotfish, angelfish, lobsters, lobster? All along the Keys, you'll spot sandbars where you can just pull over, park your car, and go for a dip or a snorkel. We were surprised at how many families were out barbecuing and enjoying these unique spots all to themselves, so we had to join in. If you enjoy a good coffee and are staying near Marathon or going through Marathon on your way to Key West, I'd recommend you stop at Curly's to grab a good cup of joe.
Cheers.
I got my Curly's coffee. I love the coffee here. It is so good.
If you happen to be in Isla Mirada, one of the touristy but still fun things to do is to go and feed the tarpons at Robbie's.
Let's see the bucket.
Ooh, it smells delicious.
Just watch out for the pelicans that are always trying to swoop in and steal your fish. Keep an eye out for that and watch your digits.
And you got my finger too. Oh my God, look, where's my pinky at?
Now on to the more obscure / very pricey things. These next suggestions are a bit more off the beaten path, but well worth it. Starting with Cape Florida Lighthouse inside Bill Baggs State Park. It's a bit further of a drive, but the views are honestly next level. and the beach is also super stunning. If you want to splurge on a really unique experience, I'd also recommend either getting on a seaplane or a ferry to go explore Dry Tortugas National Park. If you want to truly experience the fishing capital of the world, then I'd recommend booking an all-day fishing charter or a half-day fishing charter. Both are very pricey, but the experience, I'm sure, is unparalleled.
Wow.
Another fun thing to mix in is going to the Turtle Hospital in Marathon for a great educational experience and an opportunity to give back to the wildlife. And a bit further down towards Miami, you can also visit John Pennekamp Coral State Park, best known for its offshore snorkeling, as well as Biscayne National Park, which is mostly accessible by boat to explore its coral reefs, islands, and shoreline mangrove forests. And lastly, this one's kind of a bonus.
Another day, another sandwich.
Publix coming through. But if you're looking to bring some food with you to the beach for a picnic, you gotta stop by Publix and get a Publix sandwich.
Yeah!
$9, it's the size of my forearm, and it can feed 2 people, no problem. Enjoy.
Dude, amazing. Look at all that. They stuff it to the brim. Subway who?
Dang, you don't hesitate. Committed.
Dude,
So good.
so good.
All right, my turn. I'm going in. And a big shout out to our Patreon peeps. You guys make a big impact in our lives, and we thank you. Dankeschön.